we spend so much time, and when I say we, I mean a collective we as a people spend so much time either just at work or social media, spending so much time just dealing with media that we forget to even just live life and actually connect with people and to do meaningful things that are cool. Like we're just going about life and not really having purpose behind it. And I think that that's like really hurting us. What you think?
Yeah, just yesterday I met up with like 4 different people that I haven't actually met up with in a long time, where we actually sat down and caught up or just discussed life overall.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do these meetups with people, there's a different experience in it that I feel increases my quality of life. I just feel way more energetic. My mind feels more fresh, and I feel more invigorated towards whatever I want to do. And I think it's very important have those interactions, because a lot of those people that I meet up with, yes, we are friends on social media. We kind of keep up with what we do on the stories and shit like that, but the connection isn't really there until we actually meet in person and we actually invest time to have real conversation. Not just like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, bye. Like actually, hey, let's sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and really just talk about random stuff. And those random stuff tends to be more deep conversations, not just superficial conversations. It's like one person we were talking about, he's a day trader. He's talking about how he doesn't know any other day traders in his area, so he's feeling that he has no one he can lean on to kind of like share his struggles with, where people can understand. And we were talking about how what I do to look for people, the 4 F's that we discussed: faith, family, friendship, fitness, and finance. And so we talked about that, and he started looking into that. And then another person was talking about volunteering, being part of on the board for nonprofit organizations that actually help build schools for people who have no money or or live in rural villages in Nepali, where they were hurt by earthquake and really they have no money to do anything, stuff like that. And so these are more serious conversations that I feel we don't really do as much online or anything.
Yeah, I agree. Like if everybody knows me, and I know that this is not everybody knows me, but everybody who does know me, excuse me, like we can chat it up. We can be on the phone, we can text and everything, but once I'm with you in person, it's like you get a way deeper level of me, right? Because there's not so much that I can text is only text. I can't really share all of me. We can misinterpret things. It's gonna be too long to type. But then like when we're in person, that's when we get to actually, I've talked about this on previous episodes, experience each other through the other senses. Right? Because it's more than just words, right? And so I agree. Like sometimes I actually get bothered, no offense, mom, but like when my mom or any other family members ask for like, oh yeah, can you send us pictures of this and pictures of that? And they just want pictures. And it's not because I don't want to take pictures, but it's like I don't want to spend my entire time while I'm doing cool things, right? Like whether I'm at like my wife's ballroom dance event, or if I'm going on a trip somewhere and I'm connecting with people, or I'm at an event or whatever it is. I don't want to spend all of my time just like only on social media posting and doing these different things just for the likes, because then I feel like I'm not actually getting the full experience that I could be getting. And so I think that because of the social media era, like a lot of us get caught up into that trap as opposed to actually appreciating the moment fully. Like we end up looking back at photos like, oh yeah, that was a cool time to do it. But then like the conversation doesn't really go any deeper because you're not actually being able to reflect on how it felt. Like, oh man, remember when we did this? Oh man, like nah, because you spent most of the time just watching the event through the phone. And so I think that like those are like key things that we got to do. My uncle, he used to always tell me, he was like, hey Sam, make sure you control your phone. Don't let your phone control you. It was so funny when he would say it to me, because I was like, saying, yeah, it's a good saying. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not letting it. He's like, no, you keep picking it up. I'm like, so we got to get back to like when we're having conversations with people, like put the phone down, maybe put it on do not disturb, put it on vibrate, put it whatever. Like let's actually connect with people, and you'll actually be able to grow personally, is what I've experienced.
Yeah. And like it's funny you were talking about like concerts and stuff. I was just recently at a concert just 2 days ago, and my right ear is still ringing because heavy metal concerts, let's go. Anyway, yeah, we would bust out our phones a lot, but in those instances I also started like what I've done a lot in other events. Sorry, I kind of was stuttering there. What I've done with a lot of other events is when I want to document what's going on, I don't post it right then and there. It's just, hey, I'm going to shoot this on the camera real quick. Phone goes away so I can experience it more. And then after the fact, I'll do the posting. And that's something I've learned of in the marketing or branding side of things on social media, because a lot of us do use social media for work. It's how we get a lot of our customers. It's how we actually promote ourselves. So I see the significance of it. Mm-hmm. But like your uncle said, was it your uncle that said it? Yeah. Like your uncle said, don't let the phone control you. You want to control it. So if I'm always on social media and it's just because I want to scroll through, I'm not in control. However, if I say, okay, I need to market what I'm doing, my interests, then that's where it's like, all right, I'm just going to shoot what I got to shoot, record it, and then I'll post it later on, which will take me no more than maybe 8 minutes of my life for like 5 different posts. You know, and then in that instance, it's like, okay, cool. I'm interacting on social media, but I was also able to get as much experience of the actual concert, right? I caught myself too. Like there are times when there's gonna be mosh pitting, and I want to record it because I'm like, I want to show people what mosh pit looks like because everyone thinks it's so bad. And I'm like, yeah, there's aggression, but we still protect each other, you know, the whole concert etiquette. But I'm like, well, if I'm recording, I don't really get to mosh as much as I want to mosh. And, you know.
I mean, won't you lose your phone?
No, I've gone in there and I never lost my phone. But the thing is, so here's a fun fact about metal concerts. I never see a metal concert where people are not taking care of each other. If someone falls over, everyone around that person makes a circle. Hey, pick them up. If someone dropped their phone and it's pitch black, everyone takes out their phone and turns on their flashlights to look for it. Hey, I found a phone. Oh, that's mine. Boom. And 2 cell phones were lost and found at that metal concert I was at. Nice. 1 wallet was lost and found at that metal concert. Nice. And multiple shoes and hats were lost and found. like people at the end of the concert when everyone's leaving, like, hey, whose shoe is this? People actually do kind of take care of each other in the metal scene. And that's an example of people actually like really invested in taking care of each other and interacting with each other instead of just trying to like look cool for the camera to be on social media. They're just doing it in real life and they don't need to show it off.
Yeah, when you were saying that, it actually reminded me of like different cultures, because I know like where I grew up in New York City, like it wasn't a guarantee that something was going to get returned to you, whereas like when I was in the military and I started to go overseas, and everybody would share like different things about their different overseas experiences. Like you got places like in Japan, like where people will chase you down. You left your wallet, like, hey, here's your hey, like you're like, it'll follow you for like a whole mile, like, hey, I had to return this to you. And I think that that's like one of the things that I loved about that experiment from the video was that the guy actually went around. I don't think he went out of country. I believe he only stayed in the US, but
yeah, he hit all 48 states in North America.
The
continent.
Okay, continent. Yeah, the continent. Yeah. So probably not Alaska and Hawaii, but
yeah, none of those.
Yeah, but what I thought was cool about it was that he went around. Just like for me, like when I've gone around to just different places, different countries, things like that, I always take something new like away, and like when I meet different people, I'm able to like actually pick their brain, and it's not something that I ever really see on media. That's what I've noticed. It's never something I experience on social media, like to the point like where a lot of you guys, like, you know, I have like a bunch of suits. I get them like custom made, and I reached out to my tailor the other day. He's in Bahrain, right? And he was just recently in Indonesia, and I hit him up. I was like, hey man, long time no speak. You know, hopefully like he recognized the number and everything. And I was like, hey, it's me or whatever. But he hit me back. He was like, bro, I remember. And he started saying a whole bunch of different things, references from years ago. And the reason why I think that it's so cool that he was bringing up these references is because it was during times that we were just connecting. Like, he's not American. I'm not Indonesian. I'm not Bahraini. But just being able to see that the human experience is like more similar than it is different, that had a huge impact on me. And we were just able to laugh it up about a whole bunch of different things while still respecting each other's differences. And I think that that's something that doesn't get paid attention to too much when people are only living through like the media, you know?
Yeah. And an example of only living through media, for like I've gone to dance events, other events, And whenever we're trying to make sure that we get cool photos or videos throughout the whole thing, we realize like, man, I don't even remember what we did that day, because we weren't really experiencing.
Yeah.
We were too busy curating and creating versus documenting, right? And that's where this whole new thing of blogging, I think it actually messes up a lot of other people, because I know some creators, like actual user generated content, where big brands like T-Mobile brands will pay them for stuff to create content, and they're like, yeah, man, if I do this event and I have to create video, I don't actually get to experience it because I'm working, and like I don't even remember what I do. The only time I do remember is when I'm actually editing the video, and I only know what's in the video. I don't remember anything else outside of the video. And those conversations right there is like, oh yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because you, like, for example, one of my friends, him and his wife, they did a cross-country tour with a bus. This was sponsored by a brand, a nationwide brand that everyone recognizes and sees on commercials all the time. And they had to do that tour. And you would think, all right, doing a cross-country tour would be fun. You're driving, you're with your wife and your dog. There's got to be some type of experience for this. Where in fact, they were just saying they were very tired, always having to record, always trying to be high energy for the video, and then having to edit it and then continue driving.
Jeez. And
so there was so much going on that they didn't really experience as much as they could have if they weren't creating videos, if they weren't being content creators. And but they do say like it was an experience to actually be paid for that kind of a content. That's a goal for a lot of content creators, is to do stuff like that. But I think there's also a weird instance where you have to figure out what's the cost benefit analysis of living and experiencing versus getting paid.
Yeah, and therein lies the problem, and I think creates a way to be innovative to create a solution, because it's like, then I go into problem solving mode. I'm like, all right, I'm a content creator, but and you know, I want to be able to experience this though fully. So maybe I invest in technology, like, I don't know, like maybe there's like body cameras and things like that, where I can have that going on for me while I'm still living the experience, or actually have someone who doesn't necessarily care about living this experience, but they have the time that they can just devote to, you know, filming it all or something like that. I think that, like, those are the different things that we might have to start thinking about, because I've thought about that before. I was like, yo, maybe I just have somebody follow me around and like, you know, so that I can still experience it, and then everybody else can also experience it. Because I think it kind of sucks. Like, I've actually done that before, like where I've sat at, maybe it was like a basketball game or something like that, where I'm like recording so that other people could be able to see it. You know, they're like, oh man, that was cool. Like, you know, let me see this. And then it's like, man, I'm like living for you rather than living for me. And you know, I'm not even getting paid to live for you. Like, what's going on? And so I think that just being able to try to find that balance is like super essential. Yeah.